A while ago I released a video of beating Kingdom 2 Crowns in only 26 days. I've gotten several comments over time asking for a commentary on it, so in this video I'm going to be talking over the run and explain the ideas and strategies I used and thought process I had during the speedrun. Quick thing before I start though, I did this run before Call of Olympus was released. That patch changed how some smaller things in the game works. For example, before if you rang the boat bell and had archers running towards the boat, you could leave before they reached the boat and they would still join you on the next island. Well, now they need to be in the boat. So some minor things in this run are different from if you would do a speedrun today. Anyway, if you want to see the whole speedrun, I will leave a link to it below, and let's start. So here at the beginning, one of the best and easiest way to make coins in this game is hunting. So the first thing I do here and on all the islands is start with cutting down trees to make some hunting fields. Now, at least on Island 1, I had a very specific island layout RNG I wanted, so I'm playing with the assumption that both the boat and cave will be on the right side of the map, and if they aren't I would just restart. On the later islands I don't though and adapt more to whatever RNG I get. I'm also sticking around the starting area here because I want to send off the merchant before I head out to explore so I can get the merchant again later. I also need enough coins from the trees here to be able to afford all the things before I head out. With these trees here, by the way, you can see that I'm deliberately leaving one uncut. Sometimes with the RNG it can't be cut anyway, but I'll come back to why I'm leaving one tree later when it becomes relevant. Before heading out to explore, I'm sending off the merchant to get as many merchants as possible, upgrading the town center as often as possible since it's the only thing with a cooldown you have to wait for in the game, and getting one more bow so I can have an archer on each side. I made sure to have at least 2 coins left so I can pay off the greed too. There are 3 coin chests on Island 1, I need at least 1 here on the right side to be able to pay for the boat on the way back. I also need to know which side the cave is on, so at least once on each island I run all the way to the edge to check. And doing that also let me know what remaining things I need that are on the left side. I'll be recruiting some more people on the way back, which is a good time to mention. During the run I'm always trying to recruit the absolute minimum amount of people necessary, because even just a few extra people with tools could be worth about half a coin bag, but that could also be the difference between if it's possible to afford an upgrade a whole day sooner or later. So I just paid for the boat here, and since the boat can carry 3 builders and 4 archers, I'll make sure to have that before heading off to the next island. And now in town center, I'm going to upgrade the town center whenever I can, send off the merchant one more time so I can get it one final time later, buy tools, and then the builders can work on the boat while I pick up the last coin chest to the left. Right, so you're probably wondering what the deal with this tree is. So if I take it down now, that will delay one of the builders to the boat, so later when I return to the boat, the builders will have finished it at the same time as I reach it. Then I can pay them to move the boat without having to wait for the builders to run all the way back to it. You also probably saw before that I never paid for any walls, but got free ones when I upgraded the town center. At the wood, stone and iron stage you always get free inner walls, and because I'll beat the game so fast, the greed never gets strong enough that it's necessary to have more than one set of walls. Last thing I'm doing here is picking up all the coins the hunters made during the day. You obviously want as many coins as possible with you to the next island. I'm also upgrading the town center one more time to leave it at its current max level. And I can also just in time afford to send off the merchant one last time. And the builders just finished the boat. Like I mentioned before, I only need the builders and knights to be in the boat, while the archers can auto-join the boat if I have rung the bell. This have changed in the Olympus update, but the Olympus update comes with some good things too from a speedrunning perspective that you can do if you made the run today. For example, after the update, archers from towers can join the boats, while in my run I'm also gonna have to hire a bunch of extra archers to build up the towers before I can have any extra ones. Island 1 and 2 I play fairly similarly in that I only rely on hunting coins and no farms. Both Island 1 and 2 give a lot of free boat parts, so I don't think farms are as necessary. It can be a little rough to not do any farms on Island 2, so it could be a valid strategy, I just liked to try without. So similarly here to Island 1, I want to get the hunting fields up as soon as possible and start upgrading the town center. After Island 1 there's a bit more RNG to pay attention to and adapt to though. For example, to the right here I saw there was only a few trees before a large flat area, so it's definitely worth finishing chopping down those trees before I head out to explore, because then a large hunting field can just create itself while I do other things. Another example is most likely you'll get a merchant at the location, so you can get one merchant a day, which is what happened in this run. But on a few runs I did, I got super lucky and it spawned close enough you could get 2 merchants a day, so in that case you definitely want to take advantage of that. Anyway, I'm not heading out to explore until after I reach the final level on the town center here, so the cooldown can be waited out at the same time as I'm away. The higher the level the town center is, the longer the cooldown will be. So I'm recruiting some more people here, because once I have the stone upgrade for the town, I also get some stone towers. So if you're going to need extra archers for the towers anyway, because they will prioritize going to the towers, then you may as well get them as early as possible so they can help with the hunting before they eventually become useless. I do the same thing with knights too, since they have 4 archers each. Get the archers early to have them help do hunting, and only get the knight later on once you need it, since the archers stop hunting once they join the knight. So I have a few things to find on this island: stone upgrade, farmer statue, stag mount, coin chests, and check which side the cave is on. It is nice to have the cave be on the same side as the boat, or if not that, then at least have the boat be relatively close to the base. Because it means when you're attacking the cave later on, you can build the boat simultaneously as you're attacking the cave, by keeping the builder safe behind you, or at least try to time it well. So when I'm getting the stone upgrade here, I will still have enough coins left to get the stag if I run into the stag on this side, otherwise I would have waited with getting this. So the stag is here, but since I also need gems, I will keep exploring all the way to the right first to check the cave side, and then hopefully get it on the way back. The stag is one of the most important money makers in the run, so as soon as I have it, I will always be hunting deer at every opportunity I'm not doing something more important, or whenever I walk past one. Like for example here. Next thing I did here was add an outpost for an archer, so one could do hunting further out than where they would normally go. I didn't usually do this in my runs, I don't think it's necessary, but I just felt like it here. Then some town upgrades and explore for whatever remains on the left side. When I was experimenting with ideas for the runs I did, one thing I thought was helpful was, let's pretend for a second that you had infinite coins on people. The true limiting factor to how fast you can beat the game is the cooldown of the town center, since you need to upgrade it to iron to get the bomb. So if the cooldown is out and you could upgrade it but don't have enough coins, how could you have played differently up to that point to have had enough coins? And then try different ideas until you get as close to that as possible. Now when I have stone, by the way, I can get knights. The boat can carry 3 knight squads, where each knight have 4 archer each. It's quite a lot of coins to set up all that. I think Island 3 is a good place to do that, because you get a lot of people camps over there as well as you have the farms for coins. But because I didn't struggle too much on Island 2 with resources, I actually hired some extra people here already and gonna set up 1 night squad here. And then on Island 3 I can just use those saved coins for something else. After Island 2 I'll be heading back to Island 1 instead of 3 to get Archer statue. Since I rely so much on hunting for coins, it makes a big difference when they can actually hit the targets. Also, I do need to wait out the town center cooldown on Island 1 too, so I may as well do that while getting the Archer statue, since the vote there is basically free anyway. Alright, back to Island 1. So I know here I need to wait at least a little bit before the town center is ready to be upgraded again. That's why I'm heading out to the right first, because I may as well get an extra deer or 2 for the coins while waiting. It's also a little bit tight to get enough coins on this return trip here, so every extra coin counts. Otherwise, this island is very straightforward. Upgrade the town center, get the RC statue, get coins at the same time, and then just head off again. So I'm actually going to do a bit of a skip here on this island, because I didn't find too much apart from that to comment on. But the full original speedrun video is in the description, and if anyone have any questions, feel free to just drop a comment. But for now, let's head to Island 3, because I will be playing Island 3 and 4 a bit differently. On Island 3 and 4 I'll use farms, because the boat gets so expensive here you kinda have to. Since I stayed for such a short time on the island, I really want to get them up as fast as possible to make them profitable. So partly I'm starting off this island like usual with clearing trees and upgrading the town, but the ideal goal is to also acquire 1 basic farm and 6 farmers before the next sunrise. Something I'm also doing differently here is that I'm exploring the nearby area to the right and left quite right away. Because usually you can find at least some goodies relatively nearby, such as a camp or a coin chest, and I do need to find 4 people. I did see a farm plot both on the left and right side of camp, so I'm picking the one on the boat side, because it makes it a little faster to move the coins to the boat later. And I will also put up a hunting field on the opposite side of the farm, because just the farm and steer are still not really enough. I do need an extra wall for the farmer shop. I'm putting it on the same side close to the farm here, because then at night the farmers can run to safety inside the walls, despite I'm creating the farm outside the base. So the day is over and I have all the farmers ready here and had just enough to get the base to a good upgrade level 2. Maybe hunting an extra deer or 2 would have been good, because it was barely enough. Now is a great time to explore all the way to the side to check which side the cave is on, since it will take a day for the farmers to make new money and I can gather a bunch of deer at the same time, and the town center needs to do its cooldown. It's gonna be barely noticeable here, but you can see one rock on the right side of the screen here, so you know it's the cave side. I'm hiring some more farmers on the way back, as well as some people to be part of the night squads. Upgraded farms are not always worth it, they're very expensive since you're leaving the island so fast, but since I will be returning to this island later and have to build a boat again, I just think it's worth it. The next days I will mainly just be putting all the coins I make into the boat and town upgrades. So since there is nothing that will happen apart from that, I will just do a little bit of a skip forward here. I do get the builder statue though, and I completely forgot how many farms you can have in the base game. They nerfed this if you play on the Olympus Islands. But let's talk about nights though before I leave. You can bring 3 night squads with you on the boat, but it's random which side the 3rd night will end up on the new island. So I'll create a 3rd squad on Island 4 instead to guarantee get it on the cave side and not waste any coins or people. Something I've also done a lot is hire extra people on the islands that I haven't given any tools to. Because then when I return to those islands later on, in case the night squad ends up on the wrong side, I will have people ready to be hired for it and don't have to explore out to find new people to recruit. Alright, Island 4. I play Island 4 the same way as Island 3 until I reach Iron. So basically set up farms in the same way as I did on Island 3, and then the usual of upgrading the town and clearing trees without anything really new to add. Since Island 4 is the same as Island 3, I'm gonna skip to once I reach Iron. Once again, I have the link to the full speedrun below, but since this is a commentary on the strategies and stuff, it makes more sense to continue when there is something new that happens. I did a really silly mistake here though that I thought was going to end the run. So I'm heading out to get the iron statue and thought I had a lot of coins on me. I did run past a portal, and around here I'm realizing it's sunset, and I only have 2 coins left, and there will be more than 2 greed. So in an emergency backup plan, I just hoped there was a gem chest somewhere to the left I can pay them off with, and got lucky. But it was a close one. So time for iron, and the first blood moon is happening. It can be really good to get some extra builders for the iron because it's so slow. I was going to pay off the greed wave to keep the farmers safe on the left side since they are outside the base, but the dog howled to the right side, so I went to fight them off there instead. Normally when you're playing the game, what you're probably doing when taking out portals is sending off the night squad to take down one at a time, and then deal with the retaliation wave in between. But what you can do, and what I'm doing here, is to build the bomb and walk all the way to the cliff and take out all portals along the way in one go. Of course, you'll still have to face every retaliation wave either in your face or on the other side. But they are fairly weak early on, so as long as the knights are paid to be able to take a couple of hits, it's not too bad, at least for now. Also, for every portal you take down, the retaliation wave gets stronger, as well as the general game difficulty. So obviously I'm only taking down the cliffside portals since they are the only required ones. Here is another little trick. You can lure deer into your archers and get coins at the same time as you do this. I had that be especially helpful on Island 1 and 2 where I'm a bit lower on coins. But speaking of the knights again, there is a knight statue on Island 5 that makes the knights much tougher though, but I'm going to do Island 5 last and think it's manageable without it. But then on Island 1 and 2 it's definitely necessary to be a bit more cautious and partly pay off the retaliation waves, especially if the greed have masks. So the reason, by the way, I'm going with the order to finish all other islands first and do Island 5 last is because I'm thinking you can get away with not having to leave one island if it's the last island. On Island 1 and 2 you essentially have a free boat, and on Island 3 I already have money going with the farms, so why do a lot of setup on Island 5 if I don't have to? I think hunting fields for coins are so underrated. You can literally go from nothing to iron on Island 5 with only hunting, along with also catching some deer. The stag stamina is so bad I've literally lost runs because I couldn't get out of cave 3 or 4 in time. It almost seems like sometimes it can run and sometimes not, even if I only walked in the cave and ate grass outside. So I'm not sure what all the factors are there, but that's definitely not a fun way to end a run if you've gotten far, so it's good to pay attention to. So you can see here all people became unrecruited again. They don't always do that. If someone else does a speedrun, figuring out what causes that can obviously be a benefit so you don't lose them. After finishing up the boat, I'm heading to Island 3, 2 and 1, and it's the same thing again on all 3. Upgrade to iron and then walk the bomb to the cliff. One thing I forgot to mention before though was that on Island 1 and 2 I have left the merchant ready to be picked up, because that extra money is helpful when you return. Since I just showed me walking the bomb all the way to the cave in one long go, let's not do the exact same thing 3 times again, and jump to Island 5 next. Island 5 is the most chill island if you do it last. If you set up hunting grass fields and help out with gathering some deer, you quite easily have all the coins you need to upgrade the camp from nothing to iron. So it's really just a chill time waiting out the town center cooldowns. The only extra thing to do is get a knight statue at some point, because the retaliation waves gets more fun here. But after a nice break of just upgrading and gathering some coins, this is the last retaliation wave. I hope this video was interesting, by the way, with given the thought process behind the speedrun. Feel free to drop any questions. I also want to point out that this is obviously not the only way to do an efficient run or a speedrun. I actually played quite differently than the runs that were records before me. I switched up the entire island order, for example. And similarly, you can probably come up with more ideas if playing around. Also, for the full-length speedrun, just check the description. If you watched this far, maybe drop a subscribe to help me reach 500. Anyway, thanks for watching and bye!